Most people call these hand pies, but in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, they are survival food. Today on Bakes by Vasco, we're going to be making authentic UP pasties using some tips that I learned at the legendary Gene K's in Iron Mountain, Michigan. We are going to be making a savory cottage pie pasty with a lard-based crust and a sweet caramel apple version for dessert. These, back in the day, were very popular with the miners to take for lunches, and fun fact, they often had sweet and savory in the same pasty. That, to me, is the ultimate handheld meal. I'm Michelle with 1L, and I'm glad you're here with me today. What you're going to need is lard, unbleached all-purpose flour, salt, and water. Also, a pastry cutter is a very helpful tool for this. Now, let's get to baking, eh? All right, the first thing you're going to want to do is take 3 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. And unbleached was the tip that I got from the lovely woman at Gene K's. And you're going to put that flour in a big bowl. Then you're going to take 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and you're going to whisk these together until they're combined. Next, you're going to take 1 cup of lard, again, from the lovely ladies at Gene K's. You're going to cut it into your flour until you get particles that are about the size of peas. And you really want to use a cutter because the warmth of your hands will not be conducive to making what you want. So I'm just going to do this until it's all the way we need it. Okay, now that your flour and lard have been cut together and they look a little like peas, you're going to add water 1 tablespoon at a time. Between 5 and 6 is what you'll end up using. What you want to do is toss this with a fork, grab a fork, and till it pulls away from the sides of the bowl. So start forking it, dribble some water in there. And then you just keep doing this until all your water's used. At this point, if you don't feel that it's moist enough, you can add another 1 to 2 teaspoons. All right, I'm not satisfied, so I am going to add that extra 2 teaspoons. Wipe your fork off so it doesn't get too gummed up. Now we are ready to roll this out. So you just gather it all up, make a ball. All right, you are going to have to knead this by hand a little bit to get it to come together with the measurements that I've got. So just leave it in the bowl and mix it together with your hands. Just squeeze and roll and squeeze and roll. Because the next part of this is you're going to divide it into 6 pieces and roll it out into flats. Now that looks like something I can work with. We're going to move to the counter to roll these out. I'll be right back. All right, everybody. It's a little kind of crumbly feeling still, but it seems to have the consistency I really need. And this is only the 3rd time I've made them. So what you want to do is take your dough now and break it off into 6 equal parts so that you can roll it out into 9-inch rounds. And then we're going to fill them with cottage pie that I had made the other night. And fill them with apple pie filling straight from a can. All right, these are a little bit big to get 6, so I'll break some of them off. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. All right, I got 6. They look a bit to be equal size. Set these over here and start rolling these bad boys out. See if I can get some circles. Otherwise, I'll be working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine. Ooh, I think I slipped down. First one's rolled out. It's not quite round, but I'm going to set it aside and move on to the next one. But first, I'm going to roll this into a better ball with my hands. While you're watching me do this, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Help me grow. And if you want to see me do something specific, leave me a comment. Or if you try them, leave me a comment. I don't exactly know where I got this recipe from, but you know my love of cookbooks if you've been following along with me. Probably one of the older ones. Or I might have gotten it offline. All right, everybody, I've got my pasties rolled out into as close to circles as I can get them for still being new to this and self-taught. And we're going to fill them with cottage pie and savory gravy that I made the other night. You really do want your ingredients cold when you put them in your pasty crust because you don't want to melt the lard. So, helpful tip, remember that. So I have 6 pasties. We're going to do 2 with cottage pie. Then we're going to make 2 with apples. I'm just using a plain 20-ounce can of apple pie filling because it's not apple season. And then we are going to make 1 like the old coal miners. Working in a coal mine, going down, down. Working in a coal mine, slipped, I think I'm going down. We're going to make 1 that is both. So let's get to this. Okay, our pasty dough is rolled out into sort of circles, but I'm still going to make it work. I'm still new to this. And we're going to fill these with cottage pie filling. Now, I made the cottage pie the other night, and we had it for dinner. And you want your filling in this to be cold so that it doesn't warm up the lard and then not cook right. So cold filling. You can use traditional, like we had up in Iron Mountain, we had brats and potatoes. You can use any kind of meat and potato and vegetable combination you want. This is just one of my favorites. If you would like to see my cottage pie recipe made, leave me a comment and we'll do that for you coming up. But right now, we're going to take this cottage pie and put about a 1/2 cup in the center of our pasty dough. We're going to dab a little bit of butter in there, dribble some water, and then fold them up and crimp the edges. Don't be afraid to use your fingers because you'll have to break it up just a little bit. All right, I've got about a 1/2 cup of cottage pie filling here. I'm going to take a little bit of dab of butter, toss that on there. Take a little bit of water and toss that in there. Then you're going to want to fold it over. And you're going to moisten the edges. And if these edges are thick, that's okay, because the coal miners used to do it that way because then they could hold the pasty with their dirty fingers, eat the yummy insides, and toss the dirty crust. So that's how we still do it today. And then you take a fork, once you've got it folded over, and you crimp it down. All right. The last thing you're going to do is cut a slit in the top and then move on to your next one. Next one I'll do for you will be a sweet one. Just take your apples, also dump them out of the can, put them in a bowl in the fridge so they can get cold. Because again, you want your ingredients to be cold. And then you just take a scoop. These are whole. I didn't cut them up. That's fine. Three is good. And then just like your savory pasty, you fold it over and crimp your crust. Oh, I forgot the butter in that one. So I'm going to put my sweet on the right and my savory on the left so we know which one's which. And then we're going to make one that is both. So once again, a little bit of cottage pie. A couple of juicy apples. Oops. A bit of butter. Water. All right. And so I know that this is the double. I'm going to put 2 tinier slits in it than the others. And we'll leave it at the very top. Now these 3 are ready for our preheated 375-degree oven for 50 minutes. Okay, everybody, once again, I'm Michelle with 1L, and this is Bakes by Vasco, and I'm so glad you hung out with me today as we made traditional Upper Peninsula, Michigan pasties. So now we get to the best part of anything I make is the eating. This is a double one. Oh, these are hot. There's a savory and a sweet. Look at that steam. I have some homemade from scratch brown gravy here. I'm falling apart here. The flaky crust is just right. The ingredients are savory and warm and just all kinds of comforting. Now let's dip a caramel or an apple into the caramel. Take a bite of it. These pasties are the ultimate handheld meal. Definitely give them a try. Hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.